Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Off the Sideline podcast. And I'm joined here, as always, by nobody, because on the Off the Sideline podcast, it is a solo show. So, yes, if you missed it, I put a community notes tab out that, unfortunately, Kyle, he's traveling. He's in Boston. I actually wonder if he was watching this somewhere in the New England area, like at a bar or something. But regardless, he is, there were some internet issues. He is unable to make the show. So I figured, well, I'll do the Off the Sideline podcast here, cover things. And I bet Kyle is disappointed that he can't talk about this one because what a win by the Patriots. So I'm going to go through it all. Also, you might notice that this is a unusual setup. I don't have my typical setup. I don't know exactly what's going wrong, but some technology issues. So if you're watching the video feed, then yeah, that's what's going on with that. But yeah, let's jump into this. As always, we're going to start off with the Sunday night game. This is maybe the best week in On the Sideline podcast history. Unfortunately, Kyle can't be here, but the Patriots with possibly their best win since, since Brady was there. I mean, they did make the playoffs with Mac Jones. I guess they beat the Bills. That's another one you look at when Mac Jones threw like 3 times in that game. But really, this is the best win in the since in the post Brady era. Patriots move up to 3-2. The Bills lose. There are no undefeated teams. Only 5 weeks into the season. That's kind of nuts. Drake May is the story, right? Drake May was awesome in this game, I thought. So to me, that's the story. Is like, this is the Drake May that went 3rd overall. This is the Drake May that was the consensus number 2 overall pick above Jaden Daniels, who was awesome and won Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. Most people had him as a higher prospect. And he looked like, I'm not going to say he looked like better than Jaden Daniels, but he looked like he looked like an elite prospect in this game. He was fantastic. And it was, in part, turnovers were a big story here. Not more than in part. That was a huge story. The Bills fumbled twice. They also had an interception off the hand of Josh Allen, which did not help. Ramondre Stevenson can't stop fumbling. He had another one in this game. But this was an even matchup. 6 yards per play by both teams. Exactly 6 yards per play. But ultimately, the Patriots do just enough to get the victory. I thought they played physical. I thought that they really kind of disrupted the Bills. And to be honest, I think the Bills, listen, I get that you want to have this balanced attack. You want to be a team that can both run and pass. But, I don't know. You got Josh Allen. Maybe be a team that can pass. They had nearly 50% passing to rushing in a game that they were trailing for a good chunk of it. I get it. You want to be balanced. You want to have that tool in your tool belt. But again, you have Josh Allen. He is your superstar. I kind of feel like they should rely on him a little bit more, was my perspective on it. But yeah, awesome game if you're a Patriots fan. I mean, that Stephon Diggs, 146 yards. This was a revenge game for him, right? He had some, it seems like he is cordial with all the coaching staff and players and stuff in the pregame stuff. But, he got traded away from Buffalo. I'm sure he wanted to make sure that he had a good game here, and he did. So, yeah, just like that, Patriots are only a game out of first place in their division. They play the Saints, the Titans, the Browns, and then they play the Falcons, the Buccaneers, the Jets, the Bengals, the Giants. I mean, this is not a tough schedule because they had a last place schedule, right? Or I'm trying to remember. Did the Jets have the worst? Did the Jets finish last place No, yeah. Patriots finished worse than the Jets last year. So they have a 4th place schedule. That helps things. So, not saying they're going to be better than the Bills, but they were better than the Bills tonight. So, yeah, awesome win for the Patriots fans. Well, I'm sure on Wednesday Kyle will have things to say. But yeah, let's move on. Okay, now let's head over to, it's the Off the Sideline podcast here. I'm controlling everything, so therefore I feel like I can start with my team, right? If we're being honest, I mean, this is just the right team to start with, period, right? This is the right game to start with, period. The Buccaneers beating the Seattle Seahawks 38-35. Both offenses were ridiculous in this game. At one point, the Seahawks scored a touchdown on 5 straight possessions, scored 5 touchdowns on 5 possessions in this game. Still, That was not enough to win. Both quarterbacks over 10 yards per attempt. Igmeka Egbuka, 163 yards and a touchdown. Jackson Smith-Njigba, he only had 132 yards and a touchdown. Those two guys were fantastic. It was not just them. The quarterbacks were fantastic. The lines were blocking well. The defenses were very injured. Both secondaries very banged up. That was a huge part of how this happened. But nonetheless, I thought both quarterbacks still were legitimately good. Like both things can be true, right? So yeah, I mean, give both teams a lot of credit. I do think these are two teams that are going to be here in September or in September. Yeah, they're definitely going to be here in September. In January, I think they're still going to be playing. I think these are two playoff teams. I, you know, I'll say this: like you talk about who's the fifth quarterback in the league, and there's a lot of conversation. Is it Hurts? Is it Herbert? Is it Jaden Daniels? I think Baker Mayfield has really put himself in that conversation of who is number five. I still think Burrow is in the top four, even with his injury. At least when healthy, he's in the top four. But yeah, I mean, this was an awesome game. If you missed it, it was. I mean, both offenses were crazy, and it came down to a defensive play. Levante David, future Hall of Famer, Levante David coming through with a clutch interception to get the victory. So yeah, very fun game. I was when the Buccaneers tied the game, I wasn't even celebrating. I was like, oh, good Lord, look at what's about to happen here. Like we're gonna just give up another Cooper Cup play. Probably I'm having flashbacks to the Cooper Cup Rams divisional loss. But ultimately the Buccaneers get the win. So yeah, really fun. I have extended thoughts on this channel on my Buccaneers fan reaction if you want more of those, but I'll move on. Let's go to Titans Cardinals, the real surprise of this week. And one of those like how did this happen types of games, right? Like the Cardinals led by a ton. It was 21-6 at one point. It looked like the Cardinals were going to have another touchdown. Their young rookie, or I don't know if he's a rookie, but their running back who came in due to just injury, and James Conner isn't there. They're trying to figure out what's going to happen. He has like an 80-yard rush, but he drops the ball at the goal line. I have to say, I did not see an angle that could confirm that he did in fact drop the ball at the 1-inch line instead of at over the goal line. I thought they kind of got screwed on that call, and that was a huge call. Would have given them a touchdown. Instead, it gives the Titans the ball back. Still, this Titans offense couldn't do anything all game. The Cardinals offense completely went cold in the second half, and Cam Ward made some plays down the stretch. He threw an interception when they're trying to come back, but ultimately was able to make plays. And Calvin Ridley looked like Calvin Ridley again. And when we talked going into this season about how this could be an okay situation for Ward to jump into, a big part of that was having a number one receiver. Ridley looked like a number one receiver last year, did not look like that this year. Well, he looked like that in this game, and he had a huge play at the end. Cam Ward was able to hit him, and they're able to win. So, yeah, huge for the vibes for the Titans. You got to start getting some wins. You got to help, makes things feel better, makes feel like you're moving in the right direction. For the Cardinals, though, again, I wish Kyle was here to talk about it because he was big on the Cardinals. He said Cardinals are a playoff team, but like this is just a horrible loss. This just can't happen. You get the Marvin Harrison Jr. thing. He starts playing like what you wanted Marvin Harrison Jr. to play like. He has 98 yards, including a great catch to help set up a touchdown. In double coverage, Kyler just kind of threw it up and they made the play. But there was just some weird stuff. Like I didn't love all the coaching decisions. The Cardinals at one point, it's 3rd and 8. They have a chance to ice things, and instead of trying to ice things, they decide to just run the ball and then punt back to the Titans, and the Titans are able to get a field goal. Like you only have 2 points. Why are you not trying with Kyler Murray? There's a play where really the game kind of turned when it was 21-6. The ball bounces off of Kyler Murray's helmet and ends up a Titans player recovers it and is that they were in field goal range at that point. Ultimately, the Titans get the football. So like there were just so many mistakes from this Cardinals team. This is a talented Cardinals team. This isn't a talent issue, but like they got to figure something out. And if it's coaching, then it's coaching. I don't know because I feel like I kind of like what the defensive side of the ball, but it just feels like they keep shooting themselves in the foot. And for a team that has as much talent, being 2-3 and losing to the Titans, a team that everyone's been blowing out so far, yeah, tough loss for Arizona. Let's move on. Let's go to another tough loss. How about the Broncos and the Eagles playing each other. So this was a compelling game. Also, sorry if the video starts to get a little bit choppy. I'm recording this on it's the software I'm recording it on. Again, having some technical issues. Hopefully everything is okay. But yeah, if not, I guess I'll edit it around it because I'm not live here. But anyway, um, Broncos Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles lose to the Denver Broncos by a final score of 21-17. The Eagles led 17-3 in this game. So another comeback as um for the Broncos, this was a struggle through a large part of it. But their offense finally gets going. They're finally able to get something to happen. And on the flip side, this Eagles offense just doesn't look right. And the Broncos cover well, right? The Broncos are a good defense, but I mean, it's one of those weird things where you look at the overall stats, and there was 11 rushes, 6 of those by Saquon Barkley, 38 passing attempts for Jalen Hurts, and the numbers, even with some deep shots in there, aren't spectacular. 280 yards, a pair of touchdowns, no interceptions. That's good. But still, it's nothing otherworldly. And of course, the big play for the Eagles that they didn't hit on was they were up 17-3. Hurts had AJ Brown open down the field and missed him. And because he missed him, that gave the Broncos another chance. They score a touchdown, they get a stop. Things got crazy. There was a ton of weird calls. I thought there probably should have been a pass interference to set up first and goal at like the 5 yard line on the final play of the game for the Eagles. But there was a ton of weird calls. There was also a bad pick play call that gave the Broncos a third and long instead of a fourth and one, which they then converted a third and long. Again, weird game. I thought Bo Nix was really good in this game. I know the numbers aren't going to be great, but I thought he made a lot of really important throws down the stretch, put the ball in a good position consistently, and Cortland Sutton continues to be Cortland Sutton. So yeah, I mean for a good defense, I thought that the Broncos handled themselves all right. Huge win for this team, who's now 3-2. They lost that Colts game that I feel like they feel like they probably should have won at this point. They lost to the Chargers, well, which is another close game. You don't want to fall to 2-3, even if it's understandable to lose to the Eagles. But yeah, huge win for the Broncos. You can't help but feel for the Eagles, though. Like, this is a team that's struggling to close out games, which is weird because their strength for the past 3 years has been if they get up 2 scores, the game's over because they can just run out the clock. They're not running the ball as effectively. This game didn't even really try to run the football. And they didn't when they went to pass, they didn't do a great job there. They were feeding AJ Brown. You wonder if the noise has been a factor in that of how much he had a social media post where he said he wanted the ball more. I don't know. Weird situation for the Eagles, but give the Broncos credit pulling off the victory there. Let's move on. Let's see. Where do we want to go here? We can go to the let's do Dolphins. No, I can't do Dolphins Panthers. I'll do that a little bit. Let's do the I guess I can do Dolphins Panthers. It was a weird week, not the best week. Okay, so Dolphins Panthers somehow is getting very high on the docket. It was a good game though. Tua played very well. The Dolphins defense did not. I thought Bryce Young played solid. He made a couple of just weird mistakes. He had a play where he just dropped the football. He also had a play where he forgot how many timeouts there were in like a 2-minute drill, which I don't get how as a quarterback you make that mistake. I just don't get that. But he also made a lot of really nice throws, and like Xavier Legette got going in this one. Ted McMillan is having such a good season. If it wasn't for Emeka Egbuka getting all the attention, like I think you could argue Ted McMillan for Offensive Rookie of the Year. They both been fantastic. Again, Egbuka gets to play for the offense where he's able to get 163 yards. Like McMillan's probably not going to have an opportunity to do that. But him and Legette played well. Like this is what you were hoping to see. Granted, this Dolphins defense is just not very good. It just isn't. And Rico Dowdle ends with over 200 yards. At one point, the broadcast said, no, it was Scott Hansen who said it's his first game over 200 yards this season. Like, yeah, I guess so. I guess so, Scott. I would assume that he has not had multiple 200 plus yard games this season. Hey, he made some plays. Trevor Etienne, who had 4 carries, he had 5 yards per carry as well. So running game working for Carolina. Again, I didn't even think Tua played poorly in this one. The offense did get cold a little bit later on, but ultimately it was, hey, Panthers finding a way to make plays and, get the job done. So yeah, give them a lot of credit. Let's move on again. I know it's a little quicker, but it's we're doing a solo show. You quickly realize maybe it's harder to talk when I get to push things over to Kyle. I get to think about more stuff when he's talking, and then he brings up stuff that I want to respond to. I feel like I have less to say by myself, but I'm doing my best here. Um, Vikings Browns. Let's do this one. The London game, and this was a very fun game, I thought. Maybe very fun's too strong. It was a fun game. This was a good start to the week. There's been some sort of like discourse over should there be these international games. Personally, I think I'm in a weird scenario where I have to get up early to watch these games. Not get up early, but I have to make sure I'm up and like moving. I can't have like a lazy Sunday morning. I have to get ready for my job. That being said, my job is to watch football. So do I really have a job? You could argue, but I don't know. It's cool to have football on in the morning. It probably isn't as cool if you're on the West Coast and have to get up at 6:30 to watch your team play. I can see that being frustrating. I wouldn't hate the occasional international game that starts at 1 p.m. Eastern time, right? Like you could do that. You could have it be will we get that confused if it's nighttime there, but like daytime for us? Like I think we'll understand how time zones work. Maybe they feel like it'll just be a little jarring. I don't know. I thought you could do that. I don't know if there's a reason why they don't. Maybe they just like the idea of an island game like this. Anyway, who cares? Let's talk about the game. Quinshon Judkins is awesome. He had 110 yards. He also had a long touchdown that was taken off the board. Granted, it was taken off the board because of a hold that helped set up that play, but still, he's so explosive. And my big critique of the Browns the first couple of weeks is, man, they don't really have a lot of explosiveness. Well, he's explosive. He makes plays happen for sure. So he is definitely someone that it helps this offense out a lot, and he really should be the story for the Browns offense. Dylan Gabriel is the story, largely due to Shadur Sanders. I'm not going to talk Shadur Sanders. Everyone has their opinions about Shadur Sanders. A game where Dylan Gabriel played should not change that. I thought Gabriel played pretty solid. Like, it wasn't great. The numbers aren't spectacular because how were they going to be in a situation like this? There just isn't that much talent offensively, but like the offense looks significantly better with him out there than with Flacco out there. It just does. So it's still not spectacular. It's still not great, but it's, in my opinion, pretty undeniably better. Again, Flacco was debatably the 32nd best starter in the league entering this week, but still, it does feel a step better. Ultimately, they did not get the win, though. I thought Kevin O'Connell was awesome calling plays in this game. I thought there was a lot of creativity. Carson Wentz made the plays at the end that they needed to ultimately get the victory. I still don't love this Vikings defense, especially the run defense right now. So I think that's a pretty big issue. But they're staying afloat. They're staying afloat, and you're going to get JJ McCarthy back. There's been some talk of like, do you consider keeping Wentz, who might be the better option today? I just don't think so. I just think like this season is about JJ McCarthy. If it's a world of difference, like if Wentz was playing at like an MVP level, or even like what Sam Darnold was doing last year, I'd say, okay, maybe there's interesting conversation here. But I think that the marginal gain of this season, putting Wentz in, like the goal is to win a Super Bowl, right? And I don't think you're winning a Super Bowl with Wentz. You could maybe win a Super Bowl if you could develop McCarthy. So that's how I see this. But big win for the Vikings to ultimately be able to, to beat admittedly not a very good team, but still pull off the victory nonetheless. We can do Texans Ravens here. It's a notable game. It's an important game, even if it wasn't necessarily a good game. This is unfortunate because going into the week, we're like, okay, well, this could be one of the interesting games of the week on the early slate, which was a rough early slate. Well, that did not happen. Turns out Lamar Jackson pretty valuable to this team. The Kansas City Chiefs last week put up 37 points against this Ravens defense. That is the second worst a team has done against the Baltimore Ravens. The Browns struggled against the Ravens defense. Every other team has put up 37 or more against this team. It is just ridiculous. Give credit to the Texans and CJ Stroud. Like, yes, the Ravens are playing a JV squad right now defensively with all the injuries they have, but nonetheless, I thought CJ Stroud played very well. He had, nearly 10 yards per attempt. He had 4 touchdowns, no picks. That'll get it done. There still was a little bit of like getting sacked and letting the pressure get to them. But he made some plays too when pressure got to him. So, it was okay. And then, yeah, then Nico Collins made some plays. We saw Christian Kirk get in on the action, Dalton Schultz get on the action, even the rookies, Jalen Noel, Jaden Hickens both made some plays. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good job by the Texans offense. Again, the Ravens, I guess the one thing you look at if you're a Ravens fan, you're probably a Lamar fan, and you can say, hey, see, Lamar Jackson's really valuable. Look at how much he matters. But I think we knew that. I think anyone who is blaming Lamar for the first 4 weeks might need to get their head examined. They need Lamar back in a hurry. Can the Ravens survive this situation? Well, they play the Rams next week, which is not going to be an easy win. The Rams also are on a 2-game losing streak. So that's a both teams are going to really want to win that. They do get a bye week right after, though. So you would assume, given how they talk about Lamar's injury, I assume at most he's missing one more game. If you're 1-5, can you survive? Well, let's look at that rhyme. Let's look at their schedule. So you have the Bears, you have the Dolphins. I mean, those are winnable games. The Vikings, the Browns, the Jets. It's not crazy you get back in this. You play the Bengals twice more this season. They play the Steelers twice, which can always be tricky. The Patriots, who seem competent at the very least, and then the Packers. It's not crazy they can get to 9 wins or 10 wins and get back in the playoffs, but they need Lamar back and they need other guys back. I mean, they need to figure out a way to make this defense decent because they weren't winning games with Lamar, right? So yeah, tough situation here for the Baltimore Ravens. Let's move on. We can go. How about Giants Saints? Weirdly, 3-0 for the NFC South this week. How about the NFC South coming through? The Falcons had their bye week, so they did not play, so they couldn't win. But everything that played won, including the Saints. The Saints are able to get their first victory, so give them some credit. Although, really, I mean, it has to be mentioned. I mean, the turnovers for the Giants were just not is bad. I mean, it was a 5-0 turnover differential. So that's brutal. I mean, you can't win any game when you're doing that. A couple of those were Dart. Dart actually had 3 of those. He also had a play where he just dropped the ball. The other 2 interceptions, one was kind of a weird route late in the game trying to get back in it. Another was just a 4th down throwing it up. So I don't think his numbers are as bad as they would suggest. The numbers are bad. The numbers are 5 yards per attempt, 200 yards on 40 attempts. That's not ideal. But like, I didn't think his tape was that bad. He had 55 yards rushing as well. I actually played okay in this game. It just kind of got away with them with the got away from him with all of the turnovers. And hey, give the Saints credit for making some plays defensively, finding ways to get the turnovers there. Taysom Hill was back. He's a fun player to watch. He had a 19-yard pass. So there was that, I guess. Did have a couple rushes in there as well. And then Rashid Shaheed, I believe I heard them say he had the fastest run of fastest touchdown. I think what it said, not fastest overall play, but fastest touchdown. Okay, well, good for him. We know he can fly. So yeah, and then Spencer Rattler. Hey, there was the stat of 0-10. I heard a lot of people saying 0-15 is the record. Is he going to get there? Gets the win. Doesn't have to be on any record board that you don't want to be on. So they have to feel good about all of that. Saints have been competing in games. So, and this game started off really bad. I mean, they started off, I think, down 14-3, but we're able to ultimately get enough here to get the victory. So there you go. Let's move on. We can do the Thursday game here. Niners taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Crazy game. Another game that it started off all San Francisco. Things seemingly turned. It felt like the Los Angeles Rams were going to come back and get the victory. All of a sudden, Kyron Williams fumbles at the goal line when they're up 3 points. The Rams would be able to still ultimately tie the game and send it to overtime, but they weren't able to take the lead because of that fumble. And then in overtime, 4th and 1, they give it to Kyron Williams again. And once again, not able to convert and lose the game. So, yeah, I mean, I have no problem going for it on 4th. I do think that you can still look at this and say, is the secondary an issue for the Rams? We thought it was going to be the biggest issue going into the season, and they did let Mac Jones play pretty well against them. That is a thing that happened. Also, I just felt like I just didn't think they played great football to start the game, and part of that might just be they have a short week with Thursday and everything. Like, it might have just didn't play great. Stafford missed some throws early on. Like, they had opportunities and weren't able to get it early on. they started playing a lot more smooth and running their offense in the second half, and that's why we saw them get back in it. But just again, too many mistakes late to get the victory. I still think the Rams are very good. I still think the Rams are a real contender. They're a dark horse contender in the NFC. I still feel that way about them. If you let them get hot at the wrong time, bad things can happen. Nakua and Adams are still one of the best 1-2 combos in the league. Tutu Atwell had another big catch in this one, so you still have all of that. For the 49ers, the 4-1 49ers, they keep getting banged up and keep finding ways to win. They're playing Tampa Bay next week, another 4-1 team. One of those teams could be 5-1 despite their incredible injuries. I thought Mac Jones played well in this. A lot of it was Shanahan, but there were plays too when he had to drop back and just it's 3rd and 9. We need you to make a play, and he was able to do it. He was playing through an injury as well, and was able to make it work. The running game is still an issue for San Francisco. They're still not running well, and I doubt that against Tampa Bay that'll get fixed because Tampa Bay is a good run defense. So, you can only trust this passing attack for so long with Mac Jones. We'll see when Purdy comes back. We know, Mac Jones himself said Purdy is the starter. Purdy is the starter. But hey, being able to get this victory, I mean, they're going to find themselves in the postseason with how they're winning games right now. So yeah, huge win by them. Let's move on. Few games left to talk about. Let's talk some balls. I should have talked about this earlier. The Commanders beating the Chargers. This was a bit of a surprising game. I mean, the Chargers went up 10-0 early on, and then the Commanders were really able to. I thought Jaden Daniels really found his groove. There's been all this talk about sophomore slumps and how second year Jaden Daniels not going to do well. Well, he played very well against a very good defense, and this started to look like last year's Commanders team. Not in the sense of like the downfield passing wasn't entirely there, but like the way that they can just it seems like they could just get 8 yards on every play. Bill Korski Marriott was able to get 111 yards on just 14 carries. Also, so his name is always listed as Jacory. Everyone calls him everything you read says Jacory, but every announcer will say his name is Bill. He likes to go by Bill. Why can't we just call him Bill? Like Josh Hines Allen got his name changed from Josh Allen to Josh Hines Allen immediately. Like that took us like 30 seconds to fix that. Why is poor Bill having to have such an issue getting this done? I don't understand what's going on here. But yeah. Anyway, he had a very good game. Jaden Daniels was able to rush for 39 yards as well. Deebo Samuel nearly 100 yards and a touchdown as well. Luke McCaffrey had a big catch, and that was actually kind of the biggest sequence here. So it was late in the second quarter. The Chargers are up 10-7 over the Commanders. The Chargers return a punt for a touchdown, but it was called for roughing the punter in the end zone. Therefore, not only is it not a touchdown for the Chargers, but the Commanders keep possession of the ball. There's then a 50-yard Luke McCaffrey catch. They ultimately get a field goal. So that's a 10-point swing. Instead of the Chargers being up 17-10, possibly at the half, the Commanders would have had still some time to try and get some points. But so maybe they still scored a 3 and you say it's, a 7-point swing. I guess that's probably the better way to phrase it. But still, that's 17-10 instead of 10-10. And then, Commanders were able to really do a lot. I have to say, I didn't love this game plan by the Chargers. You have these receivers who are playing well. Everyone's throwing down the field against Washington, and it really felt like the Chargers didn't even try to do that. And I get it. You have injuries to your offensive line. Like, you're more built to go over the middle, but like the Commanders are pretty good over the middle. It's outside that they struggle with. So why are you not even trying that? I didn't love the game plan. And so, that they really struggled offensively, but still give Commanders credit for making their defensive plays as well. So yeah, very interesting game. Huge win for the Commanders to go up to 3-2, to try to stay competitive in the NFC. They play the Bears and the Cowboys the next 2 weeks. Then they got to play the Chiefs. So we'll see what happens with all of that. That should be fascinating. Horrible loss for the Chargers, right? I mean, you talked about 2 weeks ago, 3-0 on top of the world, championship contenders, going to win the division. Now, if the Chiefs win on Monday Night Football, the Chiefs will be tied with the Chargers. Chargers still technically are in first, tied with the Broncos right now. But Chargers beat the Broncos and Chiefs. Chargers are beating everyone in the division. That's the good news, is you're still 3-0 in the division. So you get the tiebreaker there. But ultimately, felt like they could maybe put some put some space in between them and the Chiefs and the Broncos, and have kind of failed to do that the past 2 weeks. Let's move on. Let's go to let's do let's see. Few games left. We can do Cowboys Jets. So this ends up looking like a pretty solid Jets offensive performance, putting up 22 points. It was not. This offense for the Jets really struggled. Lot of rough play, a lot of no one getting open, Fields holding on to the ball for too long, and then the Cowboys did a good job at containing him. I mean, this is a Cowboys team that every offense has plummeted so far, and to the point where like Jordan Love put up 40 against the Cowboys defense, and we're still like, yeah, but like how good was he really in that game? Was it just the Cowboys defense? Like that's the state of the Cowboys defense right now. Um, yeah, I mean this was not good. This was not what you want. Brees Hall played well, didn't give him the ball enough really. I thought 46 pass attempts for Justin Fields. That should never happen. I don't care how much you're down by. That should never happen. He actually did play nice once things got going towards the end. Once he finally started getting the ball out of his hands quicker, I thought that things went well. But yeah, only team that's 0-5 right now is the New York Jets at this point. So not good. And I don't know what the fix is. I mean, you could maybe consider going with Tyrod Taylor. I don't know if that's just rearranging deck chairs from the Titanic at this point, though. What a mess. But for the winning team, the Dallas Cowboys, I'm trying to think like, do the Cowboys have a chance to make the playoffs? Because they covered much better in this game. Let's give them credit as well. Let's not just blame the Jets. The Jets do have some talent on the outside. They were able to cover effectively. Now for Dallas, you play the Panthers next week, who did win a game, but you don't look at them as a huge threat right now. This Cowboys offense is such a buzzsaw. If they can just get decent defensively, it feels like they have a chance at the postseason. They're 2-2-1. Like it doesn't seem impossible, right? They do have a bit of a tougher schedule than you would think, given the fact that they were a third place schedule last season. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. This is definitely a step in the right direction for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's move on. 2 games left. We can go Lions Bengals. I heard this from someone. I think this. I heard this from somewhere else. But someone mentioned that this was the Bengals offense was so inept that Dan Campbell punted from the Bengals 41-yard line. That's how little they feared this Bengals offense. That actually weirdly kind of got into it with 21 points in the fourth quarter to make things interesting. But yeah, I mean, it's just the turnovers for Jake Browning. I don't think it's like horrible in a vacuum. I thought that the Lions did an all right job covering down the field. Jamar Chase still ended up with a pair of touchdowns and 110 yards, but I thought they did an all right job at covering those two players. Browning was just throwing it up for them at times. But yeah, 3 turnovers by him or 3 interceptions by him. That's going to be tough to overcome. The Lions offense did what you expect the Lions offense to do in this situation. Also had a lot of short fields to make it even easier. Not that they needed it. So yeah, really good performance by them. I don't know. This game went exactly as we expected. Let's move on. Let's go to Raiders Colts finishing here. I mean, like you have to start thinking about like, is this just it? I mean, do you go to Aiden O'Connell or is Aiden O'Connell? He has an injury, right? I don't know if he even has come back from it. Do you go Kenny Pickett? Is it Kenny Pickett time? What a disappointment. I mean, there was all this hype with the Raiders of like, can this team just be decent? They weren't even trying to be like a championship contender. Can they win a few games and look competent out here? Well, not right now. I mean, 40-6 against the Indianapolis Colts. Geno Smith, another pair of interceptions, no passing touchdowns on the day. Just brutal. I mean, he's now throwing 6 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Like that just can't get it done. And again, it's not all on him. This offensive line is in a rough spot. Ashton Jeanty made some plays here, so that's fun. At least your exciting first round rookie looks exciting. But yeah, I mean, this was a mess from top to bottom. I must give the Colts credit. Again, we know the Colts are great. Jonathan Taylor with 3 touchdowns in this game. The turnovers helped the Colts offense, of course, but still, it's weird. We're 40-6 game. You wouldn't think that the yards are almost the same. The Raiders had 296 yards. The Colts had 317 yards. Obviously, 2-0 interception ratio is a big part of it. And the Colts just don't punt. Colts, again, they're a well-oiled machine. They have 11 guys every single time, offense or defense, that can play. and it helps. So yeah, we saw Anthony Richardson have he caught we saw him for a couple plays, so that was fun. Tyler Warren threw, 3 different players threw for the Indianapolis Colts. That's fun. But yeah, this game kind of went as expected. So yeah, that is the show. Again, as I said, bit of a shorter one because hey, only half the people, so only about half the time on the show. But I wanted to get something out here for you all. So hope you enjoyed this the Off the Sideline podcast. It is fun to still at least get something out for you guys. So yeah, those are my thoughts on everything. What are but you know, I'm about to do my video end, but I can't do my video end. This is the podcast. So all right. Thank you to everybody for watching. I guess I should give the plugs. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow Kyle. He is at by Kyle Grondin. You can follow me. I am at Jackson Kruger. Of course, if you like audio only podcast, anywhere you get your podcast, you can search On the Sideline podcast. Even the Off the Sideline podcast will be available on the audio only feed, so you can check that out if you're interested. But yep, those are my thoughts on all of these games. I almost started doing the video. I don't know how to, if it's not the podcast, I always try to do the video outro. No, thank you everybody for watching or listening. We do appreciate it. And until next time, have a good one. Peace.